What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Wargames, and today I am bringing you the test hand combo video for Dark World involving the anti-banish engine with Astral Kuriboh and of course the Gamma package. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more upcoming content. What we'll do is I'll do our standard test hands, we'll do 2 going first, 2 going second, and we will showcase how good it is if we see Astral Kuriboh, that is, and how utilised it can be in the deck. So, with all of that out of the way, after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening test hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that hand is pretty nutty. We've got a really good normal summon in the form of Luna, and we do have ways of trying to circle some of our plays through Catalyzer. Now, obviously, the 2 options that we do have without having a danger in the hand is we do have a route to get Snow to the graveyard. Snow can then search out Genta, and that will let us pretty much go from there. So we'll start off with Luna, and the reason you start off with Luna is because it's a very nice hand trap bait. It's rare that your opponent will ever attempt to stop this, but there has been the odd case of people not knowing what Luna does, and then they will just shotgun a hand trap on it, and you go, okay. So, search out your second copy of Luna. Don't know why we're shuffling, because we're going to activate Salamander. We'll use Salamander, and we'll actually discard the Snow. We'll trigger Snow's effect. This will let us search out any Dark World cards, so we'll search out the Genta. We'll activate the Genta, we'll search ourselves out the field spell, which is Gates of the Dark World. There we go. We will then activate the Gate of the Dark World, and this is where we're going to get some good pluses. So, we're going to activate Gate of the Dark World. We're going to use this effect, banishing the Genta from the graveyard as cost, and discarding the Rainbow. We'll draw 1 random card, and then we'll use the effect, chaining 1 of Rainbow, chaining 2 of Genta. Genta summons itself back. Rainbow will then search out a level 5 or higher. Now, you can go for Grepher, which will give you a way of popping a card and will also set you up your Ascension plays should you see it. Alternatively, what you can do to get a bit of board presence in play is you can go for a gold or a silver. Silver will instigate the hand loop later on because there will be ways of adding it back to the hand quite easily. And you do have other ways of getting a second gate for another random draw. So what you do here is you return your Genta to the hand and you can summon back the Rainbow. The other way, actually, if you do go for the Grepher, is it will actually give you another way of bringing another card back to the hand. So I might actually do that. Let's swap that back for a Grepher. Just thinking that little step ahead. So you activate the Genta again, because it's not a once per turn to discard and search. It is a once per turn to special summon in any manner. But you can activate Gate, because Gate is not a hard once per turn either. You will then use the effect of the second Gate after shuffling up. And that will, again, you can choose to banish the Genta or the Snow. Doesn't really make much of a difference, to be honest. It's probably better to banish the Genta just because you can special summon back the Snow if you want to make some rank 4 plays a little bit further on down the line. And as a worst case scenario, we do have a rank 4 here, which can be Daguerres. So we'll then activate Gates effect. So banish the Genta as cost, discard the Grepher, draw 1 card. You can then use the Grepher effect to return the Rainbow to the hand and summon out the Grepher. Now remember, these 2 summoning mechanics are inherent summons. They just happen. So you pretty much, basically what I mean by that is you don't go, okay, Grepher effect in graveyard and give your opponent time to respond. It's literally just add this back to hand, summon this. So after you've resolved the gate and you've resolved the draw, you give it a second or so just to see if they want to react. You don't really want to be prompting them. You don't want to go anything, because then they'll figure out there's something that will happen. So you give it a couple of seconds, you give them time to think. You can, if you are very, very cautious, just say anything on resolution is the best way of doing it. And then after that, if they say no, nothing on resolution, you add back the Rainbow, summon out the Grepher. And if they go, whoa, 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 I wanted to DD Crow that, you go, yeah, it's not an activated effect, it just happens. It's just an inherent summon. If you wanted to DD Crow it, you would have to have done it after the resolution. And if they go, oh, no, 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 I wanted to do it after resolution, now that they know what happens, you go, no, because I asked you anything on resolution. That's just a little tip between these 2 cards that a lot of people kind of forget as well. So it's kind of like a little 101. Now, if you wanted to, rather than adding the Rainbow back to the hand, and you wanted to maximise your chances of hitting something like the Zephyros, you can leave your hand like this. I always like to kind of keep my hand as stacked as possible to increase the chances of successfully resolving a danger, but that just comes down to personal preference. So we'll go 1 to 5, 6 will be a reroll. We get a 1, which is Zephyros, broken. Revealing Bigfoot, of course, because Bigfoot is the one that you don't really want to be hitting. So we draw off of the Bigfoot, we get a Nessie, that's kind of cool. So we're now in a position where, again, if we wanted to, we can add back the Bigfoot to the hand, but you're adding a card back to your hand that you don't really want to be discarding. None of these I want to discard either, to be honest, so I'd kind of leave it like it is for now. Now, if you do get into Gamma, of course, one card that you could go into is a Lambda. It is probably worth making space, just in case, for example, you reveal Jackalope and you reveal Nessie and Jackalope gets hit, because then you technically get 2 monsters to the board, and if your zones are all clogged up, you can't do that. So you've got a couple of options. You can make some link monsters, you can climb up, you can go for the Muttrucker if you want to, if you're going for a Zelantis play. There's so many different options, it's entirely up to you. I would try to keep Luna on the board where at all possible, and kind of go from there. So what I would probably do here is I'd probably reveal Jackalope, because Jackalope I don't mind if it gets discarded. Because if it successfully resolves, it summons, I'll draw a card. If it discards anything else, then I will get a search and it won't clog up my board. And if it does get discarded, it will unlock me a better rank 4. So 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. 5, 5, 4, Nessie. So that's not too bad. So Jackalope still summons successfully, and I draw one off of the Jackalope. I can then trigger the effect of Nessie, which will allow me to search out any Dark World. Mothman or Sukanoko. Let's go Mothman. Obviously, if you're in a tier matchup, don't go for Mothman. You want to make sure you maximise your advantage of discarding anything. You've still got Zephyros as well, so Zephyros can bounce any of these cards back to the hand. This is entirely up to you on where you want to kind of go for. At the moment, we are just trying to pretty much dig to get into the Ascension spell. There is a way to do that. A way to guarantee the Ascension spell, which is probably worth doing, is to... because you can still reveal Mothman if you're locked into Fiends. Keep that in mind. But you're probably just burning away resource, to be fair. Where should we go? I can make a rank 8, but the rank 8, like, unless you're playing the Coach King, there's no real major benefit of doing something like that. I could just go all out and make an Appaloosa if I really, really wanted to. Like, if I was worried about a Nibiru or something, I could do that. Otherwise, you can just go into an IP and just setting you up plays through there. Cross Sheep is also a good option, but I can't get what I want to the board as of yet. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to get greedy. And we'll go with the hindsight that I can get into... that I can get where I want to go. So we'll go with Cross Sheep. This is just me being over greedy. I have also got rid of both the dangers, which is a little bit silly, but it still works. So 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. 3, so we hit the rainbow, which is absolutely fine. We summon down the Mothman, which is what we wanted. We draw one off of that, broken. We then use Rainbow's effect, because it was discarded. Rainbow will then add a level 5 or higher. So at this point, we now go for a silver. Now, there's no Dark World for Rainbow to add back yet, but don't worry, we still got plays to make. Keeping in mind, you still have the Zephyros, the Elite, as well. So Zephyros can bounce back the Mothman and summon itself back. You can then overlay your Zephyros plus your Salamander, which I probably could have done a little bit earlier on, actually. Don't know why I took it this long. And go into Dageres, wherever my Dageres is. There it is. So you go into Dageres. You can then use Dageres' effect. This will let me draw 2, ditch 1, which is absolutely fine with the hand I've got. So draw 2 and ditch 1. Oh, talent's nice. We'll ditch the Snow. We'll use Snow's effect. This will guarantee me the Ascension play now. Where is my one of Ascension? There we go, one of Ascension. You don't really want to banish the Greffa off the board. I've still got a Rainbow in the grave as well. I suppose it's not the end of the world if I do banish that Greffa. It means I need to get another Greffa, but it's not a major issue. So actually no, I don't. I can maximise this. We'll use these two. We'll go into my Rucker. Now keep in mind, the next play you make, if you activate Muttrucker's effect, will lock you into Fiend. So you need to kind of like make the decision on where you want to go first. So I'm probably, before I do that, I'm going to activate Ascension. We're going to banish the Greffa. And we will discard Silver. Yeah, we'll discard the Silver. There we go. This will then summon us out the Greffa Fusion. This will then start a chain of events. So you go chaining 1 Cross Sheep, chaining 2 Silver. Silver will summon back. Cross sheep will trigger to summon back, and it will bring back... Still not locked into Fiend yet. Could bring back Jackalope. Don't think it makes much of a difference. Let's bring back Snow. And then what you want to do here is you can return Silver to the hand for the Rainbow in the graveyard. There we go. So now hand's still looking pretty decent, to be fair. Then use Snow, Cross Sheep, plus the Rainbow, and go into... I mean, actually, I'll show you a different way. This isn't one that I would highly advise all the time, but it's just kind of like a cool little way that you can see a loop. So if you were to go Cross Sheep and Rainbow into Unicorn, and then use Snow... Oh, sorry, not Snow. Return Snow to the hand with Rainbow, and then use Rainbow and Unicorn, and go into Appaloosa. Yes, you take it from a 3 negate to a 2 negate, but by doing so, you've actually added another Snow back to the hand. You've also got to keep in mind that you still have the ability to discard to add back the Ascension, and you still have the ability of Muttrucker as well. And the reason you want to use Muttrucker is Muttrucker will actually allow you to bring another Fiend back to the board. So, let's do Ascension first. So Ascension will discard the Silver, and we're just going to loop these back. So we'll add the Ascension back to the hand. Silver effect will trigger to summon itself back to the board. You then add the Silver back to the hand by bringing back Rainbow. So you've just looped that resource there already. And then your hand's still pretty thick. So if you wanted to, you could reveal Mothman to give you an additional draw and a bit more board presence. Or you could activate the Muttrucker effect. It will pretty much just allow you to trigger one of these. So you'd be triggering a Snow, you'd be triggering a Rainbow, anything like that. So it's entirely up to you on where you want to take it. The idea for doing that is you would actually search out a second Grepher so that you can then, you've got your Ascension play for during your opponent's turn. So you've got loads of options there as well. And that's pretty much it for that test hand. Very decent, very powerful. I really like the way that it kind of, the deck just operates itself. But as long as you know what can loop back, when to loop it back, and what your overall end goal is, you know, you've got so much creative freedom on this day. It's crazy. So sadly, we didn't see any of our Gamma or Astral Kuriboh. So hopefully we will see them in this one and go from there. So if not, we'll hopefully see them go a second. Please. Obviously, our whole idea of the Astral Kuriboh is going first. You want to be able to get into Baguska. You can get into a Daguerre's a lot quicker and easier. And if you want to play more rank 4 numbers, you can do to make it even more consistent. And then going second, you want to get into your rank 8s. So after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 5 will be 3, 4, 5. Ugh, what a weird hand. Well, I guess the only thing we're doing now is playing a Law of Darkness. Let's play the game of luck. Broken. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get rid of gold, because personally, out of all those cards, he probably does the least for me. We'll normal summon the Luna. We'll use Luna's effect, because again, like I said, you'll be surprised. It might actually bait our hand trap. Plus, you don't really want to draw into another Luna off of the danger. Now, I could have, if I wanted to, not use the effect of Luna and kept the Luna in the hand, but you still have the same outcome, so you might as well. Obviously, there is like 2 cards in his hand, well, 3 cards in his hand we don't want Bigfoot to reveal or get discarded, but is what it is. So reveal these 1 to 5, 6 will be a reroll. It's a 2, which is fine. So this is the beige. Goodbye, beige. We summon down the Bigfoot. We resolve the Bigfoot by drawing 1. And we then trigger the beige effect to summon itself back. Broken, another danger. That's what we want. Reveal Shulkanoko. So 1 to 4. 4. Hit the snake, sad. Snake comes back. Okay, so what do you do when you're in a position like this? You've pretty much done everything you can with a hand like this. So you've got 2 options. You can go option number 1, you can make Muttrucker. Option number 2, which is probably going to be the more ideal one, but you do lose a Fairy Tale Luna, is we're going to overlay the beige and the Luna and go into a Daguerre's. Like, these are just, sadly, these are what you need to do in order to try and unbrick hands. So you activate Daguerre's, you draw 2. Broken, well worth it. You discard 1, so we'll discard the Rainbow. Rainbow will then trigger to search you out at level 5 or higher. If you want board presence, you go for Silver. If you want to guarantee you've got the Grepher, you go for Grepher. So then what we're going to do here is we're going to activate the Genta. Genta will then search you out Gate of the Dark World. There we go. You then activate the Gate of the Dark World, banish the Genta, and to get the maximum value, you probably discard the Rainbow. To give you your maximum hand advantage, you discard the Grepher. So you're either going to try and dig and get that silver, or you're going to get the Grepher. You've still got cards to loot back in the graveyard anyway. Grepher will just allow you to loot more hand resource. So you draw one random. Okay. You resolve the Genta effect. That goes there. Keep in mind, Grepher is mandatory, so even if your opponent doesn't have a monster on the field, it still needs to trigger. So that is a very important note, because there are ways, because it's mandatory, it will be Chain Link 1, but it's just stuff that you need to remember just in case your opponent tries to catch you out. Now, if you want to increase your hand advantage, obviously you add the Genta back, you summon back the Rainbow, you add the Rainbow back, you summon out the Grepher. At this point, again, you can use Genta for the second time because, you know, who didn't want to make a card like this once per turn? Thank you very much for not making it once per turn, because I absolutely love it. But it is what it is. So you add your second gate, you activate your second gate, you do the exact same play, and now we're going to discard the Rainbow. So discard the Rainbow, banish the Genta. Well, you could actually banish the beige if you want to, but like I said in the previous one, just in case you want to go for the rocket play, you want to make sure that Genta isn't there because you can't use it as a target. So we draw one, you'll then trigger the Rainbow on a new chain. Rainbow will then let you add a level 5 or higher. This time we're definitely going to be going for silver because you've got everything else that we need. And then you're going to be able to push your plays further forward from here. So it's entirely up to you on how you want to do this. But personally, I would probably reveal... actually, you need to clear some space off first. Because again, this is one thing you've always got to remember, is if you don't clear off space, especially when I've got a card like silver in the hand, the last thing you want to do is reveal like a danger and hit silver, because then only the danger can summon. It's just like, oh, you don't want that. So reveal Nessie will go 1 to 6, no reroll, 6, so we hit the silver. Nessie will summon and draw. Silver's effect will trigger to summon. Let's put it in the middle there so we don't clog up all of Cross Sheep zones. And then what we've got that can make it even better is we can add the silver back to our hand to maintain that resource and summon down Rainbow. Now, obviously, if you are playing the Coach Soldier, you do have your 3 level 8s there right now, so that's going to be basically a reveal and burn if it's a monster, reveal and burn, so you can technically plus 3 cards, which is mental. But as you saw in this version, we don't do that because we want as many targets for the Astral Kuriboh as possible. And then I would continue this test hand, but ultimately it's just going to be more of the same. So you would reveal a danger, you would hit a dark world, you'd summon, you'd keep going and going and going and going. And then basically at this point, what you're trying to do is you're trying to draw into your Ascension, you're trying to draw into your defensive plays, you're trying to make Hope Harbinger, you're trying to get into an Appaloosa, you name it. Like, it will just be endless, the amount you can do. So it'll all become the luck of the draw as to whether we add a fusion or anything else. But just with this board right here, you've got Hope Harbinger plus an Appaloosa, and still 6 cards left in the hand, which is crazy. So like I said, I could continue to go. There's also the Skull Dread if you put that in your extra deck, but that all comes down to your personal preferences. You've got so many options, like I've said. That's why there are so many profiles up on the channel for you guys to see. It's just because it gives you unlimited options. It's absolutely crazy. Okay, so now we're going to start going second, and we're going to be pushing for those OTK plays. So, after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, the idea behind a deck like this is that we are trying to get to the OTK. We're going to try and pick our opponent's board apart and work it that way. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our 6th card for turn is a Mothman. Okay, with a hand like this, it's very interesting. You've got a way to really kind of start off on the front foot. And what I mean by that is you can use Salamander to discard the Grepher, which will allow you to try and pop one of your opponent's monsters. So straight away you're being very aggressive. You're like, okay, I'm now going to try and out one of your cards. So if you're worried about anything, I would probably do that. Discard the Grepher, trigger the Grepher effect to pop 1 card your opponent controls. Now at this point you reveal the Mothman. The Mothman is going to be 1 to 4, and then 5, 6 will be a reroll. So 6, 2. So we hit the Rainbow, which is absolutely fine. Mothman will summon and resolve the Mothman by drawing 1. We then resolve the Rainbow by also searching 1. Now again, I think because we're going to try and pick our opponent's board apart, I'm going to go for a second Grepher, because then I can use Genta. Genta's effect will then allow me to search me out Gate of the Dark World. I will then activate Gate of the Dark World. And after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, we'll activate the gate, we'll banish the Genta as cost, we'll discard the Greffer. This will then allow us to draw 1 card. We'll then trigger the Genta effect to summon itself back and trigger the Greffer effect to pop another card on our opponent's field. So we have now officially cleared off 2 cards on our opponent's board. We can then return the Genta to the hand for Rainbow, and then return Rainbow to the hand for a Greffer. We can then activate Genta's effect again. This will then search us out a second gate of the Dark World. Keep in mind, we have not conducted our normal summon yet, which is mental. Activate the second gate of the Dark World. Use the effect of the second gate of the Dark World, and this will allow us to again banish the Genta, because you want to keep Greffer in the graveyard, and draw 1 card. Discard 1 card. So we'll discard the Rainbow, and then we'll draw 1 card. Allure of Darkness. We'll then resolve Rainbow, and this is going to allow us to add a level 5 or higher. Again, because we want to push to kind of clear opponent's monsters off the board, you can probably go for your Greffer. Now, another option is you could discard the gold. The gold will give you a second Greffer onto the board, but it would leave you with a Rainbow in the hand. It's entirely up to you on how you'd like to do that. I would then personally set the Allure of Darkness and reveal Bigfoot, because I've got 3 targets here that I really want to hit. If I hit Bigfoot, at least I'm clearing another card off the board. So 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. And I'll roll the dice off the desk. Great start on that one. Let's get another substitute. This is why you always bring multiple dice to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. Not too many dice, because you never get them out of the box. That was a poor roll, but it was a 5 anyway. 2. So we hit the Zephyros Elite, which is absolutely fine. Summon down Bigfoot. Bigfoot, give us a draw. We've already got rid of 2 cards. Keep in mind the Allure is set, so I can activate if I want to. I still have some very decent targets. Again, I don't really mind banishing, but I also have the ability of using Zephyros the Elite, and I'm going to return... Well, the rank 8 gives me an OTK play, but I'm going to return the Bigfoot. We're going to use Bigfoot again, so 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. 3, hit the Genta, probably the worst one to hit, but, well, apart from Bigfoot, we'll draw another card. Keep in mind, I've had this question asked to me many times before as well. Dangers reveal are not once per turn, it's their discard effect. So the pop a card off a Bigfoot is once per turn, that's a hard once per turn. But revealing them to keep summoning them is not a hard once per turn, which is mental. We got a Snow, which is good, because now what we can do is we can overlay these into a Daguerre's. We'll use Daguerre's effect to ditch 2, to draw 2 and ditch 1. So ditch a Snow, and we'll ditch that one. There we go. Snow's effect will now trigger. This will then allow us to get any Dark World card. How risque do I want to be? I could go for Archives and get really greedy. I'm going to go for Archives and get really greedy. I shouldn't do, because I've only got 1 target in the deck to get there. We'll normal summon the Luna. Luna's effect will trigger to search out another copy of herself. We'll then use Luna's effect to target a monster from our opponent's extra deck. So that would mean Luna's going to come back to the hand, and that then gets rid of, I believe we're on 3? Yeah, remove 3 monsters, or 3 cards technically. So we're going to shuffle that up again. I kind of want to get another Dark World to the board in order to kind of maximize the activation of Archives. So I'll activate Archives. I'll also activate Allure of Darkness. We'll draw 2 and banish 1. There you go. There's maximum potential. We will banish... Oh, gold is a free summon though. I've got a Rainbow in the graveyard. If I've got a Rainbow in the graveyard, I'm going to banish this one. I do have. So we're going to banish that Rainbow. Yeah, I've got a Greffer as well. And then what this is going to allow us to do is we can activate Archives effect. This will allow me to discard silver. Actually, don't want to... I can maximize more if I want to. How greedy do I go? This is all overextension, by the way, because this is just this is the Numeron Dragon OTK played just right there. Okay. Let's link these 2 together. We'll go into Cross Sheep. We will use Snow's Archives effect to discard the Snow to boost this by 400. I could have got more on the board as well, but we'll resolve Snow's effect. Snow will then allow us to add the 1 Ascension that we are playing. Where is my Ascension? Have I missed it? Oh no, where's Ascension? I play like 4 spells in the deck. How do I lose Ascension? Where has that gone? Has that gone modded up? Oh no, there it is. Fine, so we add the Ascension to the hand. Dummy. We then can trigger the archives effect, which will allow us to ditch 1, draw 2. So you can ditch the Grepher, it will still get the same effect whether you ditch it or use it on archives. It just depends on whether you're going to banish it or not. So we'll ditch this, we'll draw 2. Broken! Nice. Grepher's effect will then go off, so we've technically popped 4 cards our opponent controls. We'll then activate the Ascension. We will discard gold and banish 1 Grepher. And this will then summon us out the Grepher Dragon. This will trigger, obviously, Gold's effect in the graveyard will summon itself back. Crossshoot's effect will trigger in the graveyard, summoning back a darkworld. That's all you need to do is summon back a darkworld. You return this darkworld to the hand. This will give you rainbow. And then you return this rainbow to the hand for the Grepher. Now, at this point, I've gone through gold. I think the only one I'm missing at the moment is silver, I believe. Yeah, silver. I've gone through all 3 of the Greffers, which is pretty funny and also crazy at the same time. There is more than enough firepower on the board, but if you wanted to get extra greedy, you'd use a Grepher plus gold and your cross sheep. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to show you the... I'm going to show you a very powerful Zelantis play, because we'll link those 2 together. We'll go into... want those 2 together? No, let's do it this way. Let's do it instead. Let's do these 2. These 2. I'll get there eventually. Go into the Mutt Rocker. And then what you want to do here is you want to do these. And go into... I mean, not that you should worry, but let's say so we just we got rid of like 4 of our opponent's back row. Let's say we did it that way. Then what you want to do here is you want to use the effect of Mutt Rocker. You will discard rainbow, just because I can. We will revive snow. So now we're locked into fiends. You'll then add, off of rainbow, you'll search out a silver. You will then return this to the hand for rainbow. And just double check that I've left the rainbow in the graveyard. No, I haven't, so we'll save that, which is absolutely fine. So look at this hand advantage, mental. So start Mark Cracker's effect. You then can use the Zelantis effect. This will banish the entire board and then bring back only Fiend monsters. So you'll lose Zelantis, but they'll lose every monster. So if you prioritise popping back row, this is what your board is currently looking like. If that wasn't enough, you then use the effect of the Ascension in the graveyard to add it back to the hand to discard the silver. Silver's effect will trigger to summon itself back to the board. You then return the silver to the hand for your Grepher, and you go in for game. And look at this. You still have an Astral Kuriboh that could have been special summoned prior to this, but because we went for the Zelantis loop, I thought I'd show you that instead. You've got talents that you could have used at any point as well. This is currently sitting on 35. This is on 13. This is on 3k, and this is on 33. So that's your whole OTK play right there and then. So even though I've shown it a couple of times before, at least this is all in a more recent video, so you can kind of see how mental the Zelantis play is. And for those of you that are a little bit confused on it, the way that it works is Zelantis reads you summon back as many monsters as possible, so to either board. And because you are locked into Fiend monsters, you can only bring back Fiend monsters. So you clear off your opponent's board, and then you go, okay, well... And obviously, if they're playing Fiends, you go Appaloosa in that route, and you play it a little bit differently. But okay, so we're going to shuffle this up. We're going to go second again. And we go from there. So after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 6 this time will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, Talents loves me hand. We're going to activate Genta. Genta's effect is going to search us out Gate. Now, obviously, in this scenario, if you were to swap any of these cards, so let's say your opponent shifted you. If you were to swap any of these cards in your hand for the Astral Kuriboh, you would just basically go Baguska pass and then hold yourself out for that turn. But we'll play it through. So, Genta, we'll try and go for the OTK play. If I see the Astral Kuribohs, we'll then be able to push for the OTK play. So, activate the Gate. Gate effect will then banish Genta and we'll discard... actually, before we do that, let's normal summon Luna, just to kind of deck thin that little bit, because if you draw a second Luna off of it, you just cry deep inside. It really does suck. So then what we're going to do here is you're going to activate the effect. Activate the effect of Gate. You're going to banish the Genta as cost. You're going to discard the silver. You'll then draw 1. Nice. Genta's effect will go off as chain link. Silver chain link 1, Genta chain link 2. Genta comes back, so does Silver. So you've cleared your entire graveyard out. Not obviously great if you wanted to kind of loop back some resource, but you're still in a good position. Now the only downside of this one is we would have to use Astral Kuriboh to make a level 4 rather than making a level 8. But again, that's entirely up to you. If you want to risk it, you can reveal Mothman and pray and hope that by the random chances of luck, Astral Kuriboh doesn't get discarded. If it does, you can kind of try and play the Genta loop. But the idea is that you kind of want this to be able to do something for you. So let's risk it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll show you a different route. 1 to 4. I wouldn't risk this personally, but we'll give it a go. 2, Mothman. Ugh, that'll do. All right, we'll draw 1, ditch 1. Allure. All right, goodbye, Luna. I mean, we've just ended up getting into the same position anyway. So Astral Kuriboh will reveal Degades. We'll summon it down as a level 4. And I suppose this is the only way that we're going to be able to do this. So we'll summon it down as a level 4. We'll overlay this into Degades. We'll use Degades' effect to draw 2, ditch 1. So we'll draw Greffa and a Greffa. Now they show up. And we're going to ditch 1. So we ditch a Greffa. We'll use the effect of said Greffa to pop a card. And then the best thing about this is we can add this back to the hand for the Greffa. So we've popped 1 card. It's not as great as I thought it would be, but you know. You could have also activated the Luna. Luna can then return itself to the hand and another one of your opponent's cards. So that's 2 cards you've cleared off, or monster to be specific. I can then activate the Allure of Darkness. We'll draw 2 more cards. Catalyzer and Bigfoot. Okay. What do I want to banish here? Silver or Bigfoot? I suppose we're banishing Silver. Let's not even contemplate that, shall we? I've got a couple of options here. Again, I can increase my chances of getting a Greffa to the board and popping a card, because then I can use the Salamander's effect, this, and go from there. But we'll reveal Bigfoot, 1 to 6. Hopefully we don't hit 6. 5, hit the Catalyzer. Ugh, just as annoying, but anyway. Draw 1. Snow, where were you like 20 minutes ago? Again, still absolutely fine, because now we can activate Ascension. We'll discard the Greffa and the Snow. We'll make the Greffa Fusion. This will then, of course, trigger Greffa's effect as mandatory chain link 1 and Snow as chain link 2. Snow is also mandatory, so if you wanted to, you could do it around the other way. But Snow's effect will go off, and you now need to decide, do you search out a Genta for a random draw, or do you go for something a little bit more? Now, we've already normaled. We've pretty much done everything we need to. I think Genta is the only one, but then Genta doesn't really get us any further than we need to be. So let's go for, where am I going to get the most advantage on this one? Cerulean is not that great. I kind of need to get a monster to the board for free. So I suppose it's going to have to be gold. Again, not the best, not the worst. I mean, I've still got OTK play. Like, I don't even know why I'm overdoing this. Just literally, you've done so much now. And then if they do activate anything, you can use gold to pop 2 cards. But I keep forgetting that this is just a card that exists in my extra deck. Dragulabon's effect, 38, boff. That's your OTK play. Like, I don't know why I even overthought it or overcomplicated it. Very, very simple. Just go that route. I kind of wanted to show you making this with Astral Kuriboh just because kind of it justifies its inclusion a little bit more. But for a particular build like this, Astral Kuriboh is kind of situational. It all comes down to just giving you the most chance possible of playing against being shifted is ultimately what I'm saying. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, if you have any questions, put them in the comments down below, and I will gratefully answer them for you. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.